Did you just fall from the sky? Did you just fall from the sky? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to the review of Simon, Not Your Average Superhero by Mayberry. This is the first book that I've read of this author, and I need to say that I really enjoy my time while I read through it. It's one of those fantastic action thriller novels that I've read in a long while. And it's well written. I love the characterization. I love the storytelling techniques, which at first from the prologue section was written in the first person narrator point of view. Then moving to the first chapter, the second one, and the subsequent one switch to the sort of the third person narrator's point of view. And I want to say that each part of it is very captivating. Each part read quite cynically, and in my own perception, it's a sort of book that I think would really make a good movie. It would actually make a nice TV series. My review of this book is actually going to be a spoiler-free as usual. I won't be talking too much about the book. I just want to give you a short video book recommendation for you to have an idea of what Lucas has had to communicate in Simon, Not Your Average Superhero. But before I move into it, I'd love to read to you the synopsis that I found at the back page of the book. An everyday guy becomes a superhero. A simple job interview turns into a horrific ordeal for Simon when an ordered figure leaves a bomb on his train. Simon's instinct kick into high gear as he tries to save as many people as possible. Gravely injured, he ends up in the hospital. That night, a strange man called Araf arrives in his room and performs a ritual on him. Now, Simon's life will never be the same. Simon discovers unusual abilities such as speed and rapid healing, but it is just the tip of the iceberg. While navigating life with his newfound powers, the police investigating the attack grow suspicious of him. Simon goes searching for answers. To his surprise, he is not the first to experience this transformation. With the bomber still on the loose, Simon must quickly learn to control his power. Simon has been chosen to be a hero. Will he step up? And that's actually what you stand to gain reading through Mayberry's Simon. That's what you stand to experience reading through this fantastic action thriller novel that held me in captive until I finished indulging all of my emotions on it. It is well written. I love the scenarios, I love the characterization, I love the storytelling techniques, and more particularly, I greatly admire the feature that Simon possessed afterward, and that's the feature of his quick healing. So this book actually details the story of the protagonist, Simon, which is also the title of the book, how he was able to turn from an ordinary man to an extraordinary man. Simon had actually finished attending a job interview that did not went well. He was still on the phone with his wife, Vassia, and afterward, after the whole conversation on phone, he told Vassia of how the interview went horribly, and how he told the interviewer that he is a joke because he asked him to crack a joke, and he said, "I think you are one." That part actually got me laughing, and it's one of those amazing, hilarious parts in the novel. So from here, Simon actually bought a train back home. He was going to go back home after an unsuccessful interview, and as such, he was on the train. And in my own perception, I consider this train like something that's going to change his fate forever, because he had no idea that the scenarios, the happening in the train is drastically going to affect his life. So from here, Simon spotted someone who looks very suspicious to him. The man dressed in a particular way, and he left a backpack actually on his seat on the train and stood up to leave. So while the man was leaving, Simon called his attention and said, "Hey, you forgot your backpack here. You have to pick it up." And the man did not, answer him. He gave him a sort of a funny look, and from the look, Simon quickly figured out that something is not right. So from here, before Simon could do anything, the man had disappeared. And Following that, the man actually brought his phone and made a sort of a call, and from that particular scene, Simon could spot that something is not right here. So following on from that, the man eventually left, and Simon, in his curiosity, stood up to find out what is actually in the bag. Once he opened the backpack, he discovered, to his greatest surprise and shock, that it was a bomb. What started reading and would explode any moment from now. So Simon, having discovered this terrible thing, announced to everyone on the train and said, there is a bomb here, you all should start leaving, etc. And that's how everybody began to run at scattered. Now from here, I need to ship this in, that there are some people, the Zuholo people on the train, who at first had no idea what Simon was saying, until Simon spoke to someone else and the person did a sort of an interpretation in their language, telling them that there is a bomb and that they should all leave before it explodes. So the train turned into a house of commotion, that everyone began to run into one another, trying to find security and trying to save themselves, until when everybody is getting out, they reach a particular Green Park junction, and at this time the bomb is close to explosion. And Simon tried his possible best, ignoring his own life. He tried his possible best to save people, to save quite a lot of people. And from here, at the very dying minute, the train exploded and Simon was terribly hurt. This moved to another transition, another dimension, whereby Simon found himself in the hospital. He was rushed into the hospital and is in a terrible state of coma. So from here in the hospital, the doctor told his relative, his wife, that Simon wouldn't be recovering anytime soon, that he's in a state of coma, and this might take him like 2 weeks before he come out of it. And this left Vasya, Simon's wife, shedding tears. They put a call across to his father, and also people from Vasya's family came visiting. While the whole act was going on, Vasya was quite dejected, and she loves Simon so much and she wouldn't want anything bad to happen to him. So afterward, the attack and the train was actually traced back to a terrorist attack in that particular location, which the police are investigating hand in hand. Something quite surprising and astonishing happened to Simon in the hospital. It was visited by Araf. Araf is a grandfather of Amy, whom he had saved their life. Araf is actually one of those Zuholo people, and from here he came into the hospital with his staff and performed a sort of a ritual on Simon, on his hospital, his coma bed. And the Simon, whom everybody knows that is in a state of coma and wouldn't be recovering anytime soon, gained an extraordinary power. He regained total healing. It was completely healed, and not even ordinarily healed. It was healed, it was bestowed with supernatural powers, and it was bestowed with unnatural abilities. And from here, Simon's life changed, and the next day he woke up. It doesn't even look like someone who has been in coma for the past 2 days. And Vasya was surprised. Even the doctors in the hospital, they were all surprised, and to that it got them curious, because Simon, who had once been in a state of coma, had proof their work is sort of impotence, like they are not good in their job. They were even surprised. Different texts were actually run on Simon to be sure if it's actually correct, if it's actually fine, until they get to know that yes, it's fine, and it was discharged. So following on from this scenario, Simon's life began to change. His sexual life even was changed, and I love Lucas' description of the erotic scene that happened here between Simon and Vasya. And even Vasya could testify that her husband is someone else. Her husband had come in a different dimension that she's not even familiar with since she got married to him. The description of the erotic scene here are quite very amazing, quite dynamic, and I so much love it. So from here, Simon discovered that things have changed for him. He could run a long distance without sweating. He could stay awake all night without even feeling dizzy. He could go round and round on Vasya without getting tired. He began to realize that something is not right with him. And even Vasya noticed it and said, Simon, as if you've changed. Ever since that night, ever since the accident, you've turned to a different man. And Simon was like, Yes, I noticed it, and I think I need help. I need to visit a doctor. Simon eventually noticed that, he has this unnatural power. And I need to say that there's some different sort of instance whereby Simon would receive a sort of a vision, something like an hallucination, telling him what is going to happen in maybe some minute to come, some hour to come. And that vision will eventually turn to reality for Simon, that it began to go all around 7 people, helping humanity with his power. And this power began to make him famous and stylishly begin to get him into trouble, because it's performing strict things that are beyond human comprehension and human understanding. And this is getting the police to be suspicious of him, that even he was visited by these 2 silly police, because I don't really know why they should be interested in following him, but anyway, it's their work. But it was visited with these 2 officers, Stone and Hader, who came always investigating him in his house, asking quite a lot of funny questions. So all of these actually keep unfolding over and over again. Simon, even when he's hurt, like he sustained an injury, could heal immediately. There's a very typical occurrence that happened when he was trying to save a child during a ghastly explosion. And from here, Simon went into the fire, came out, his skin was black, he was born. He wasn't even feeling the pain. His body that is currently black and injured begin to heal and turn to normal skin color. Even when it was pierced with anything like an iron, a knife, it gets healed instantly. There's a very funny scenario towards the 3rd quarter of the novel, whereby a part of his body was cut off and it grew up dynamically. The people around were like, what kind of human being is this? So all of this kept unfolding, and Simon began to realize that this is getting him into a lot of trouble. He even have no idea how he come about all of these powers. And from the vision that I always see, he saw Araf telling him that, come, I will explain everything to you. And from here, he told Vasha that I need to go to Africa. I need to go and find answers to my problem. I just realized and discovered that this is not a medical issue. This is not a physical issue, it is spiritual. So from here, Simon began to, go on and on finding answers to a source of his power. And this is where I'm going to stop my review, because I attempt to make it spoiler free and I wouldn't love to give much away. But I want to say that this novel is very great, that I consider that it's going to be a very great TV series. I love Lucas' writing style here. It is written quite dynamically, and each scene, each scenarios get to paint the image in your head as you continue to read over and over again. Actually, I never want the book to end because it is quite very amazing. But then while Simon is on the case, on the adventure to discover the source of his power, he was met by a very nice man at the airport. The police also set a spy on him who attempted to kill him twice. Well, I wouldn't love to talk more about this part, but the journey of Simon to Africa is one that I consider very captivating, very full of great scenarios, very full of action, and quite a lot of other fascinating occurrence in it. And talk about the characterization, the character like Araf, like Amy, like the guy in the airport, and like the silly spy that Simon and his friend at the airport tied down and eventually escaped. And Simon's journey to and fro also from Africa is one that I consider very great. And also, what would happen to Vasya when Simon go to Africa to seek for answers to a sudden power and unnatural ability? This is a story that I consider very amazing. It's a fantastic action thriller novel I solely recommend to lovers of literature out there. And I don't want to spoil it, I just want to give a short video book recommendation for you to have an idea of what Lucas Mayberry has had to communicate in this fantastic book series, Simon, Not Your Average Superhero. And of course, I have the second book here, Simon, Superhero in Training, which I'm looking forward to reading. This is the second series. So this is the first series and this is the second series. So I'm looking forward to reading this to see how the story is continued. It is well written and I so much enjoy the characterization, the storytelling techniques, the writing style. It is very pulling actually. And if you're looking for that read that will get you on your chair until you finish flipping to the last page of the book, then Simon, Not Your Average Superhero would be a great read for you. If you'd love to get a copy of this book, I left a link in the description part of this review for you to get a copy directly on Amazon. And if you watch this video to this point, and yet to click on the subscribe button, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can get notified anytime I release new videos. Thank you so much for watching my short video book recommendation of Simon, Not Your Average Superhero by Lucas Mayberry. It is well written, it is awesome. I can go on and on and on and on and on because I love this book, and I also love to consider that it's going to be a very great TV series. So thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Goodbye.